Our challenges really aren't defending them as much as trying to score against them. They're incredibly aggressive. I think they're better now than they were the first time we played them. They're really athletic. She's deep. She plays a lot. She subs in a lot of kids, so they just seem to be always fresh. So a lot of their points that they're getting are in transition. That's why their guards are scoring as well as they are. Even their posts running the floor really hard. But what we've spent almost all day working on yesterday is our press offense and just moving the ball around their zone. Their half-court defense is so aggressive. They jump. They shoot the passing lanes. They go for every steal. They're incredibly reactive. So that's where our biggest focus has been, is how do we score, not necessarily keep them from scoring.
TCU's kind of it's one game removed from a 4-game gauntlet, kind of like yours, and obviously they were playing the cream of the crop of the Big 12. But did those teams show anything, leave any blueprints that you guys can follow when you're attacking TCU, either offensively or defensively?
They lost to Oklahoma the second time they played, but I learned a lot from the Oklahoma game. I really liked the way Oklahoma defended them. I will say this about TCU is, we don't have anything to lose. We really don't. What we're doing right now is we're trying to finish strong, and we're trying to be better at the end of the season than we were today. So that's our focus. That's what we're playing for. We're playing for pride. These guys are trying to play for a berth into the NCAA tournament. So they're on the bubble. So we don't have any pressure. So the pressure and the onus is on TCU, not us. So I just want us to be better tomorrow night. And if we win, that's awesome, and that's a bonus. TCU is coming into Lubbock with a tremendous amount of pressure. They cannot lose to us. They can't.
Coach, I think whenever you mention that, whenever you're saying that you have nothing really to lose, does that really open you up more, and you just kind of can let it rip as a coach, and really just anything you've been holding on to you can just go after, or does that change any sort of preparation?
No, because you still can only do what you can do. So it's not like I can go out there and start throwing this trap and throwing this press and let's just do it, let it rip. No, because we don't have all that. We can't do all that. So really what it does is it just allows me to live my life philosophy on the basketball court, which is to control the controllables and just try to be the best version of myself. So really that's just what it does for me.
And on that same token, a lot of times you hear head coaches preaching to their players about playing free. Is that a conversation that you guys have a lot, using that word to just, get out there and play free and know that this is muscle memory at this point?
Yes, particularly with certain players. So Brewer, for example, Brittany, that's been kind of our mantra for these last few weeks, is to play in freedom, Angel, Grayson, those are a couple other kids that just trying to get them to just play free. Hey, you have nothing to lose. We just want you to finish strong, to be better at the end of your freshman year or sophomore year than you were when it started. And I can say, and I think all three of those kids would agree that they are. So we got 3 games left, just finish strong, play in freedom.
Is there anything else specific that you want to see out of your team in the final 3 games of the season?
Competitive fire. I want them to fight, we don't have anything to lose. But with that being said, you have your pride. You play for pride. And, here's my Herm Edwards moment is ultimately you play the game to win the game. So it doesn't mean that we don't want to win, but I also don't want them to go in there feeling like they have pressure to do anything. But they're athletes, and they're Division I athletes, at a BCS school. And it's Lady Raider basketball, which is one of the most storied women's basketball programs, in the history of women's basketball. So what I want them to do is finish strong. Finish strong. People are going to remember the way you finish. And what do you want people to say about you? Do you want people to say that you're the team who did exactly what everyone expected you to do, and that's just throw in the towel and wait for the new coaching staff to come here? Or are you the team who got better each day and you finished strong and you played with a great deal of pride and competitive fire?
Coach, do you feel like you've played with no fear and nothing to lose, or do you feel like that there's still something left in the tank for that?
We have played at times with no fear and nothing to lose. So I just want to finish strong, Chuck. Like, I want to finish strong. And yet yesterday we had this conversation yesterday in the locker room. I told you guys I show videos all the time. And so we showed yesterday's video was a video from Connecticut, and it was from last season, and it was when they had the big snowstorm on the East Coast, and their coaching staff couldn't get to practice. But yet this was a team they hold each other accountable, and they know that we still need to practice. We got a game coming up. So it just so happened that there was a documentary crew that was filming their entire season. So the documentary crew filmed the kids. They organized practice themselves and showed them walking through this blizzard in their boots, this UConn team. And the managers showed up, and they ran practice themselves. And so I showed that to the team, and we talked about that and what that looked like to them. And there's a reason why Connecticut's good. Yeah, they have really talented players, but so do a lot of other schools. A couple in our league have really talented players, have a lot of All-Americans, and they're not on that level. So there's so much more that goes into being good, and these are the sorts of messages that I would like to leave the kids with when I'm no longer with them is accountability, pride, work ethic, especially when no one's watching, So the kids who I think were most impacted by that video were the underclassmen, which is exactly what I hoped. So we still have a lot left in the tank. As long as we wake up and we're healthy and we've got air in our lungs and we've got something to play for, we've got something to fight for.
Can you talk a little bit about Jada Terry and what she's been doing of recent? I mean, she had a pretty good ball game at Iowa State the other day, just with her inside play and just her fight.
She's playing like a senior. I've said this before. She's not, Jada is the one post player who actually doesn't do extra workouts. All the other post players, I do individuals with them 1 to 2 times a week. That's just not really Jada's thing. So I'm not going to attribute Jada's recent emergence to all this extra work that she's putting in, because she's not. What she is doing is realizing that she has 3 games left in her basketball career, and it's over. That's it. So that's either going to mean something to you or it's not. And Jada has taken off. Maybe you're just now seeing it as far as her production, but Jada's leadership, her vocality, her sense of urgency, like I've noticed all that, several weeks ago, shortly after this transition took place. And so, the last few games, you've just been able to see it in the box score. But Jada is playing like a senior.
With a lot of or some of the seniors leaving, like Jada, who are some of the underclassmen that you're expecting to step up and fill their shoes?
Brittany Brewer, Grayson Bright, those guys, they've gotten a lot of playing time this year. Grayson's been exposed to some different things. She's had to overcome some adversity by changing positions, and I think when you're able to do that, that only makes you stronger. That only makes you better. Brew's come off the bench. Brew's been a starter. So I really am excited about the future for those two. Lindsay Wilby, as a freshman, her potential is really unlimited. She's always had the athleticism and the explosiveness, the fearlessness. She can score the ball. But where Lindsay has grown the most, especially in the last month, is just her work ethic, her focus, and her realizing that she can impact a game in other ways without scoring. You saw it the other night against Iowa State. Didn't score, didn't put the ball in the bucket as much as she would have liked, but she still had 6 or 7 rebounds and played great defense. So she's growing in that aspect. So those 3, I'm really excited to see how they continue to grow and develop in this program.